And we are live. Good morning, everybody. It's week 3 of our Graduates Boot Camp Hangout, and we are here live. And we have on our panel so far, we have Jeannie.
Good morning.
Linda Hobson.
Good morning.
And Robert for 2 days in a row now making the boot camp.
Good morning, everyone.
Right. So how's everybody's week been?
Good.
Been good.
Pretty
Been good.
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get into it right away. And one of our assignments this week, we were going to watch Top Producer Formula Module 2. And what's everybody got to say about it? Open the floor.
I'll say something.
Go ahead.
I love Dave Wood dearly, but he overwhelms me sometimes. Like, where does he get this stuff? Is he making it up? Is it a download? I mean, I took notes, and I'm like, really? He never looked at a note once.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
It helps if you watch it a couple of times. It starts to make more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I noticed last night I was watching a Tony Robbins video.
Mhm.
Started watching a whole bunch of them, and in the middle of his, on one of them, he starts talking about the reticular activating system that Dave talks about in Speak the World into Existence.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I know about this. But even though I was watching somebody else's video, and they were talking about chunking it up, chunking it down.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, Dave's got a lot. You know, he's taken a lot of stuff and put it into what he talks about,
He does.
which is really good.
Yeah.
But I just, for myself, I just have a hard time. You know, like Jeannie was saying, you got to watch it you got to see it a few times to make sense out of it, because there's just a lot there.
Mhm.
And how to put it into practice is probably the toughest part.
Mhm. Did anyone look at the download that comes with it, the study guide?
I haven't.
I did not, but I'm assuming that it walks you through the steps for each belief that you're working on.
Oh,
It
that's a good
does.
idea.
It does. I have it downloaded. Just a second.
At least that's what I kept thinking when I was
know what
I
you're
was actually typing notes while I was listening to it, and I thought the study guide has to be clearer than these notes. Hmm.
Oh, very nice, Robert.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Wow, you're organized.
Yeah, way more than me.
Way more than me.
Yeah, I should have just looked at this instead of watching that video again.
That's what I thought.
Well, you know, Dave does so much reading, and he pulls all of these concepts and these thoughts together to teach us, of course. But, you know, I guess if we all read as much as he reads,
Yeah.
we would have a lot more of that information, too.
Yeah, but he's been doing it a lot longer than us.
Yeah. I mean, and he's been into the personal development for what?
Mhm.
Well, I've been
Since
into
he was a
personal
kid.
development for, you know, probably 20 years, but still, if you're not reading the right materials, you know, it makes a heck of a lot of a difference.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, his topics here, you know, beliefs and attitudes. We all know you got to have a belief in yourself. That's the main thing. And your beliefs have to be aligned with what it is that you are trying to achieve. If those beliefs or values are not aligned with that, then you subconsciously will try to sabotage yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whether we recognize that's what we're doing or not, but that's what's happening. And if you have a belief that that is not in alignment with what you're trying to achieve, then you have got to either change that belief somehow, or you've got to change what it is you're going after. It's pretty simple, when you really look at it in those terms, because the mind is so strong that it won't let you do things that your values don't align with. And then the other thing that it talks about here too is that you got to have belief in others, and basically it's talking more or less there about your team. You can't expect your team to come along and be successful if you really don't have belief in them. Okay, so that's pretty much, in my opinion, what this module talks about is really, it's all surrounded around your beliefs and your values and how they affect basically your outcome of everything it is that you want in life.
I found it interesting that it wasn't just your conscious beliefs, but that mechanism, it's really, really kind of amazing when you think about it, that the subconscious, it turns out being sabotage, but the real intention is protection so that you don't violate your true core beliefs.
Your values, exactly.
Yeah, your values. When I was listening to it, my mind just started whirling about, the things that end up being a story in my life, like why am I not blogging? I'm doing all the other things that we did in boot camp, but I'm not blogging. And my story is there are valid reasons why I'm not, but in doing this module, I started thinking about, well, are there ways for me to chunk that down, to chunk that up, the reasons to get to the root cause, because these truly are the things that are holding us back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that came to my mind when I was going through that is that when I think of becoming a successful leader, where you've got a lot of people on your team, how much work does that actually take? And I think of, I talked to Ray about this because it was really kind of bothering me. I think of Tracy Walker, and even not at, I'm not even talking about millionaire, $1 million ring earner, but as you're growing and you've got 50 people on your team or 100 people on your team, and then not only do you do a team call, but then you need to create, if you're a good leader, you create trainings for your people and answer questions, and not all the time, but maybe in a group or whatever. And then she created a product, and she wrote a book, and she's doing all these things, and what her reality is, I don't know. I don't live her life, and I'm sure she's at the point now she can afford assistance and outsourcing and all of that. But in my head was like 18 hours a day, no time with family. It made me tired just thinking about it. And so I wrote it down, and I went out to the barbecue pit and burned it. And then I put in my journal, it is easy to be a successful leader. It is easy to be, $1 million ring earner, and started turning that around, because that could be some of my holding me back, and I didn't want it to, and I knew it was on my mind for some reason, so I wanted to kind of nip that in the bud while it was in the forefront of my head.
Wow, that's really huge, Linda. That's huge. When you started talking about it, I felt that in me. I felt like, oh, wow, I know that I have beliefs about leaders that cause me not to want to do what they do or be what they be from my perspective.
Right.
Which could be holding me back because, those beliefs are deeply ingrained in that subconscious.
They are, and especially, if you're family time and well, even free time for yourself, if that's your core value, you're going to start sabotaging if that's what your conscious is thinking, is that, that I see, Tracy Walker and it looks like it's hard work, or I see so and so and it looks like hard work. It's going to start sabotaging you because it knows that you want at least some free time to be with your family,
Yeah.
or doing whatever, and I had to kind of, with talking with Ray, it kind of helped me work through it, that you come to a point where when you're doing more work, you're making more money, and so then you can afford to have an assistant, or you can afford to outsource some things. You pick and choose what you want to do, and then some of the mundane things that you don't want to do, or that you feel like your time is worth something else, to hire that person to do that. And I have to keep reminding myself, because it still comes up. I still kind of see that when I'm looking, at all the hangouts that people are on, and then they do, their own video, and they do a Periscope, and they, that all takes time. And I'm not super time management organized in any way. And maybe somebody like Lawrence Tam, he can go boom, boom, boom. He's engineer brain, so I'm sure he's a lot more organized. And I think of all that work and then disorganization, and sometimes it spins my brain. So I have to keep going back to and reading that it's easy, that that you can, when the money is coming in, you can delegate. And I just got to keep pushing that thought off, and making, like he said, make it, go through those steps and disprove it, and keep going through those steps to disprove that false thought or whatever.
But Linda, if you take a look at Lawrence Tam and his videos and his periscopes, he does stuff that's lifestyle oriented now. He's doing stuff where he's got the kids at the beach during the middle of the day where there's nobody around. He did the thing yesterday about his LASIK surgery. He's got that hashtag 8MF group going on now, where they're duplicating what he's been doing, because I know Ken Pickard's part of that. And I've watched a couple of his videos, and it's been just repeating what the other people have done. So I mean, it's not that tough, to make time, because I mean, there's people just, I get a lot of notifications about people doing periscopes about absolutely nothing, which I find a little bit disturbing from time to time. But some of them are. I mean, when you get stuff like who's up at 8, who's up at 6 in the morning, on people just want to know, or going out for lunch with the Asian girl.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too much. But I mean, some of them, I mean, with what Lawrence has been doing, it shows that you can have a life.
Mhm.
And I think we got to look at everybody. I mean, Rashkin's another one.
Right.
I mean,
He's very good at that.
Very good. He's doing some personal training now with some people that's available. So I mean, you got to take a look at all of them and not just focus on the one that you think is doing so much.
Mhm.
So
Ray,
you get
that's
away from that.
It's brilliant. It's the model of the world change that Dave talks about in the module, where you get the big picture view, where you have this view of what successful leaders do, but if you zoom out, maybe your view isn't exactly their reality. And Ray just kicked us into what a different reality, a different perspective might be of what their lives really look like. We see them I have this picture of them down in the trenches, creating new products and dealing with people all day, and I don't want to do that, But maybe that's really not the reality. Maybe Lawrence Tam really is, with his kids on Periscope, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful way to reframe so that we can kick our subconscious into gear to really protect us and help us, progress to where we really want to be.
Yeah,
That was
because
beautiful.
the other thing is too is that I hear the word training pushed around a lot, and
Mhm.
we have all the training within the system. I mean, that's what people are buying when they buy into it. They're buying all the training. So I mean, if we just plug them into the system, like Dave says, they sign
Absolutely.
on, you get them to watch the level up, and then you have them go module by module through everything. They're gonna
Mhm.
have it. I mean, all we got to just do is direct them.
I think we need to be careful too, because we see right now there seems to be an overload of people producing their own products. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I was on Chris Rushlow's training for his Epic Story formula, which I am going to make my way through. That's a commitment right in front of the group that I am going to make my way through the training. But he called us out on the training call the other night. He said, "You know what, guys? Y'all looking for that shiny thing, and you have it." And I can see in the back office who's going through the training and who isn't. And when he said that, there was this thing in me that went, "Oh, hell no." He can see that I haven't done this video and this video and this video. But he said people are making all of these products, and he is too. You have to choose the one and stick with it. Kind of what Dave Wood said about in the last module about his Kung Fu training, you know. Especially when you're on a team like the Unstoppables or Tracy Walker's Dream Team, and you see the product come out and it's now going to be part of Empower's offering, you're like, there's just so much training, you know? And we don't need to create our own products if we don't want to. We can still be successful.
Yeah, because I mean, all the products are there. I mean, that's what got
They
us.
are.
And it's just putting some direction to all of it. Why I think this group is good because I mean, we're going to take it, module by module. I mean, next week it's about lead capture pages, which is it's a little bit lengthier than the ones we've seen already, but it's something we all got to get into.
Which brings up a point that Deb Bennett shared yesterday when I was peeking in on their kick-ass mastermind. The Q&A hangout the other night where he revealed that we can have the block pages that can turn into lead capture pages, and we can get rid of lead pages and ClickFunnels. I'm so excited because I want to do that, and now Module 3 is about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything, and the merger, I don't know a lot about the merger with iPass, but I'm excited about it because now we have the actual system and not just the personal development training that we get from Empower. So yeah, you're right. We have all of it. The bigger picture is we don't have to be the Rhonda Swan or the Tracy Walker who creates a product if we don't want to.
Right. Good point.
I like it.
Because there's a lot of people out there on the internet, that's all they do is create products and sell other people's products. And I mean, they're successful at it. But here we're given everything. And that's what we can't lose sight of.
And it doesn't, if you do want to create something, it doesn't have to be this long, 8-module, 1-hour video each kind of thing. I mean, it can be something as little as a couple-page like ebook or PDF that you give away or you sell for $7 or yeah, we have to keep, or at least for me, and it sounds like Jeannie's kind of on the same boat too, we have to keep thinking about we have the choice of what we want to do and what, obviously there's things we need to do to be successful, but beyond that we can make the choice of, what we're doing. And if it gets too time consuming, you pick something else.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that I mean, it's just like in the book we've been reading there, The Millionaire Man or Messenger. It's like Brandon Burchard says, or Burchard. This is the way you get more content in the world, right? Is people come up with new products, but everybody really, when you look at it, it's like they say, nothing is really new. It's all been said and done. It's just you take a little bit of this and you take a little bit of that, and you kind of pull it together and you improve upon it a little. And I mean, it's just like all these apps that are out. I mean, that's what people do all the time. They'll download an app that somebody else has written, and then they will look at it and tweak it a little bit, add a little more code, and they've got a new app. Okay? So, that's basically the same thing that happens with books, the different training programs that are going on. It's all just kind of being rehashed and improved upon for the next generation each time. So, hey, if we didn't have everybody turning that content over, we'd all still be looking at stuff that was written, 100 years ago. So.
Yeah, but still, the basis of it is based 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that.
When I read the new Psycho-Cybernetics, I was just floored by how much of it I thought I had learned in my last, 10 years of personal development. But there it was. It had been published in 1960. And now Linda referred me to The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, which was published in 1980. And I'm like, I was around in 1980. I thought I really learned something new 5 years ago, and here it is in this book.
Yeah, we got a comment from Nancy who's watching. I think the words creating products is a little overwhelming. When I started to really understand what it meant, it can be really easy. Which is true.
True.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Nance. Glad you're here this morning. All right. Well, next week we'll be discussing lead capture pages, number 3 on the top producer formula. So we'll take it up there. Let's discuss now. Let's just go around and what's been working for people and what hasn't been working from what we've learned. I mean, where are we stuck? Where are we moving ahead? And how can we help each other with it?
I'll go first.
Okay, you're first.
I feel like I've really got my groove when it comes to videos and reading and doing my thought. I'm taking my thought-provoking thought or a quote from the book I'm reading and making an image and posting. Right now, I'm just focusing on Facebook. But there's so much going on in my life that I have been mentally. I'm having a challenge focusing because of health issues, because of this huge subdivision project that is huge in my life. So I haven't been blogging because when I sit down to blog, it's like an empty brain. It's like I haven't a clue, and I don't just want to put something out there to put something out there at this point. So that's kind of where I'm stuck with the writing part of it. But I feel really good about this stuff I've been able to maintain the momentum on with the videos. I joined the 21-day video challenge with Layla Black, and that's been fun because she gives me a topic each day that I can do a video on, which is kind of getting me out of my comfort zone again with video. I've become very comfortable reading my book and sharing whatever thought is on my mind for the day. But this is really getting me back outside that comfort zone again. So, I feel really good about the stuff I'm being able to maintain, but my next step is to make sure I'm doing at least once a week doing a blog, a really good blog.
Jeannie, you said one thing there that really struck me. You says, you think you go in and you got a blank brain. Don't write from your head, write from your heart.
Oh,
just like your videos.
Yeah.
I mean, everything comes from the heart, and I mean that's where I get my inspiration. I don't write anything anymore that I think about. I just sit down with a topic, and whatever comes out comes out. And I find that a lot easier than trying to think about stuff to write.
Normally that's such a great suggestion, and normally that's what I would do. I think part of this for me is my grief process. So vulnerable and raw sometimes with the emotion that to sit down and write from the heart right now feels like, no, I'd rather close that off. I think that's just where I'm at right now with that. But that's exactly the kind of content that I want to put out is from my heart, not my head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Is it that you don't want to share it? Because I mean, going through the grief process that you are could help other people grieving as well. You don't. Is it that you
And
just not want to
I
share
think
it right now?
I think in my grief process right now, for me, right now I want to ignore it. For me personally, which is actually that's my work, that's my challenge to take a look at that and not run from it, and then share it. Because the people that have contacted me behind the scenes, there was one woman who said, we met through some art group on Facebook, and she said, we don't talk, and I'm one of your quiet friends, but my brother is dying of cancer right now, and I don't live near him, and I had to say goodbye to him. So I was able to interact with her a little bit. What the process, he's since passed, but the people who contact me and say thank you, it just really, it's helping me deal with grief. It's helping me deal with someone who's dying right now. So I know it's really important, and I think that's the niggling at me to get my blog done.
Right. And the other thing to think about is writing about it may be cathartic for you.
Yeah.
Getting it out. You don't want to push it, and I understand the want to push it away because it's not an easy thing to go through. But when you push it down, it could be part of your health issues. When you push all that stuff down, it's got to come out somewhere. So if it doesn't come out through your writing or through crying or through punching a pillow or whatever the feelings you're having, it may come out in health issues. So think about that think about those things when you want to push it away. There's so much benefit to getting it out. So you got to remember that. You don't want to push it down so far that it's really, affecting you in a lot of other ways. That's going to be harder work to get through.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nancy wrote, Jeannie, you could totally be sharing your experience in the grief process. What a gift it could be. You could be bringing to people, but you have to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even think of it this way until we got on this hangout. And that's the beauty of the mastermind, is that you roll these things onto the group and they roll it back to you with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was muted. I kind of have the same issue, but in a different way. I think about things that I want to write about, and that is aligned with my message and comes from the heart. But the blog that I was going to write Monday didn't get finished until yesterday because I started writing it and I had all these thoughts that I wanted to share. And I had done a little research on things that I wanted to put in there, but it was all disconnected where it wasn't making any sense. And I don't know if it was the ADD or if it was just too much information that my brain was just having trouble organizing it. And I really just had to walk away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday I felt clearer, in my thought process. So I thought, I'm going to go back and see. And it didn't take me very long at all to get it organized, except that when I went to save, because I was having an issue with putting a photo on there, and I thought, well, I'm going to save it and then I'm going to get out of it and get back in it. When I hit save, something happened, and it all went away. And I about cried. I'm like, it took me so long to get this out of my head. But the second time, yes, it was worded a little bit differently, but I had, I had the basics down, so it didn't take me too long to rewrite it. But oh my gosh, I was just kicking myself, and I think before I hit any buttons, whether it's autosave or what, I'm just gonna have. I don't like because Ray had recommended write it in Word and then put it over. Well, the problem with that is I was getting it was taking so long to reformat it in our format, and yes, that is a shorter time than rewriting the whole thing, but it was still, something that I was like not really wanting to do. And so I'm just going to copy and paste a lot, I guess. And I thought it was auto-saving because, that little circle goes, and so I thought it was auto-saving. And when it didn't save, I thought, oh, it must have, when it comes back, I'll just be missing the last last paragraph or something. No, it was completely gone. So lesson learned. But I wrote it again. What took me a couple hours took me like 3 hours and 15 minutes. But and I'm still trying to get a little faster at that. It was a pretty long blog because I had a lot of information. It's 1,500 words, so it was a pretty long blog. But I got through it. But my thing is to blogging and getting back into videos. I don't know, with this whole switch, it's not that I don't have stuff to talk about. I don't know. I just have to force myself to get back into the habit. I kind of took a break because I wanted to figure out, instead of training more on business, I wanted it to be a little bit of that and more mindset stuff. And so I was kind of like, I don't know, reformatting my brain for doing those videos, and I got out of the habit, and so now it's like, I'm almost dreading doing a video, even though I like doing videos. So I have to get back into that habit. It's just a matter of making the decision and just doing it and getting back on that horse.
Yeah. When you take a break from blogging or from video, when you get back to it, it feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And as you regain that daily consistency, it gets lighter and lighter. But from an audience perspective, they have become used to seeing us. There are people that we don't hear from who like seeing our videos. So sometimes when I feel like I don't have content to share on a video, I remember that I just want to connect with them. They need to see me, and I need to just say hello for 90 seconds. And sometimes that turns into the best video with the most views and the most comments.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I gotta think about that.
90 seconds. I just need to say hello and share a little bit of my day with them, because on Facebook, that's what my Facebook videos are for, just to connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they turn into really great content and value, I feel like, but those aren't the ones that get the comments and the likes and the views sometimes.
Oh. But they're still being seen, so your content is getting out. So
absolutely. So I would like to see you again.
But there again, I mean, what you're doing is just being you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people want. I mean, they want to see the real person. I mean, they've gotten to know you and what you've been talking about, living life in love, and it makes it simple. I mean, because you're not overthinking it. Again, you're just talking off, out of your heart.
So I'm overthinking the blogs, and Linda's overthinking the videos.
Yeah. And with me, I just get them done every day. I mean, whatever I got to do, I do. I mean, I'm just focused, laser focused in on what we need to do.
Because you're just awesome like that.
You are a freight train. You are just rolling forward.
But we spent 90 days in the newbie camp, learning those basics.
We did.
And that was one thing. I mean, and we've seen it with people that we don't see or hear from anymore that were in there. what happened to them? They lost that accountability. And I did a piece the other day on one of my videos about being accountable. And that's a strong thing with me. We've been told what to do. We want to get it done, and the only way it's going to happen is if we do get it done. The end result of that affecting other people and making it happen. So I mean, when I got to get those assignments done every day, that just makes sure my day goes right.
As a life coach, when someone doesn't do what they said they wanted to do, the thing we take a look at is, how is that serving you? What are you benefiting from not doing it? It's not a blame game. It's not a you didn't do this, why not? It's why are you not doing it? Why didn't you show up the way you said you wanted to? And that's what I would throw out to the people who might watch this hangout and aren't doing what they used to do. How is that serving you, and is it getting you towards your goal?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, the power of this mastermind, I know it feels like we've dwindled in size, and that can be a little disappointing. We have to deal with that, but we haven't. We are holding space for each other, and we're holding space for the people who will be graduating in, 7 weeks from the round 2 boot camp.
Right.
And the fact that you guys are holding space for me means that I have a place where I can go for accountability, and I really appreciate it.
Well, that's why we're here. We're here for each other.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And the ones that show up, we take advantage of it. Whether it's live or being a viewer or catching the replay. Hopefully, people get something out of it.
Absolutely.
And then come join us.
Yep, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, what about you?
Well, one of the reasons, or the reason that I am going back through that boot camp again, I'm a retread, okay? It's just the way it is. But I'm going back through the boot camp because I knew myself that, yes, I completed all of the assignments, but I condensed them, all in basically a 48-hour period. I mean,
Wow.
I did. I think it was like 16 blogs and I don't know, 15, 17 videos or something like that. But so I knew that I really wasn't consistent. Okay, so that's the reason I'm back in there, and come hell or high water, I'm going to do every one of them assignments on time this time.
Nice.
So that I build that. That consistency that I need to have in my daily routine. And, my hat's off to Ray, because Ray he's like clockwork, tickety-tick,
Right.
every single day. And, hey, that's what we need right here as our leader, right? You can't sit here and talk about it, about other people if we're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
It's lead by example. That's the way, I guess I'll just say raised in the military, because, you have to put your best foot forward all the time. And so, that's my pitch on why I'm going back through boot camp again. But I got to tell you that there are people there right now, and there are one and the next one and the next one. There are people there who feel like they really don't have anybody that's leading them. And this right here is, in my opinion, going to be the spot for those people, because, I told yesterday I told there was one lady there who she was just heartstrucken that she felt like she had been orphaned and she just didn't have a place to be. And so, I told her that when she leaves that boot camp, she's got a place to be. And, she just needs to come join us in this boot camp, or in this group, really,
Yeah.
And that, that this group will be there to support her and, help her along. We're all at different levels. And me myself, I am, I still don't, I still don't feel comfortable with the back end of this thing, and by that I mean, my email responder and that kind of stuff, in order so that whenever I do have a customer, the responses that I provide back to them, I don't feel comfortable with what I have in place, and until I do, I don't think I will ever really have that strong, excited call to action that I need to have in any of my videos. Okay, so for me, I know that marketing is the big piece of the puzzle that I'm missing. Okay, and I wanted to caution you guys on stopping in your tracks and taking that break for a while, because just like Jeannie said, it is tough when you come back to get the ball rolling again. And so I'd rather it be videos, blogging, it doesn't matter what it is, but once you take the pause, it's tough to get up and moving again. So I'd say even though it may be tough to run through that daily routine, and once in a while, sure, you do need a break, but there's a difference between taking that break and going off and doing something exciting, and then coming back and jumping back into what is what you need to be doing, versus I'm taking a break for a while because I just can't think anymore on it, because there is always more content out there to be studied and learned and shared. So I would just say that our viewers will as long as we provide them with real value, they may not show up every day, but they will come back looking for you. And blogging, for instance, people that you send to the blog, I'm a perfect example of this. Okay, so I haven't posted a blog in probably almost 2 weeks now. All right, and now then, when I go to do my call to action, I have that doubt in my mind whether or not I should send a person to my blog, because I don't really want them to go there and see that nothing new is posted. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Lawrence, on a scope a couple of days ago, he was walking through Target, and what he was talking about was he noticed someone there that I guess was either hanging clothes up or stocking something there in the store, and he turned around and he started talking about, that right there, stocking the shelves for this store is just like when you are writing your blog. You are stocking the shelves in your store. Okay, so we have to put that content together so that, hey, when our peeps come to visit, okay, they have something new to look at. If we, it's like, you walk into the store and you look and you say, you guys closing down or what? Because, I mean, seriously, if you don't have something new there, or if it doesn't look like it's stocked, that's why I guess they tell you to get, try to get 30 blogs up as quick as you can, that first 30 days, because then when a person comes, they got, quite a selection to look at, right? So, for me, I think the marketing part of it is a big part of the puzzle that I'm really not putting in place. I'm not saying it's not there, okay, because it is. And, that gets back to the thing where Dave says, let me sell, and you guys just put them in front of me, okay? I mean, that really resonates with me. And, I think we probably really just need to do more of that. That's my 5 minutes of fame.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You know, that makes me think of every time I do my weekly grocery shopping, mostly at Walmart, because we have a super Walmart very close to us. And you'll go and it'll be the weirdest things that the shelf is like completely taken out, like
Yeah.
soap. Or the other day it was because my son likes Pop Tarts, so Pop Tarts, and I always like huff and puff, and I'm like, you are the biggest retailer in the world. You can't stock your shelves, and so that's a very very good point. Another thing I wanted to mention too, and this is kind of a tangent, but also kind of goes along with everything. Since what I want to the message that I want to put out there is that when you choose your niche and your core message, it's so important that you really resonate with that core message, and that person that you're talking to is a lot like you. Because what I was doing, I was marketing to network marketers, and my niche was struggling network marketers. I wanted to help them build their business and be able to not maybe have to have so many home parties, or to actually start getting leads and sales and things like that. And it wound up being that I don't know if it was the way I was marketing. I know there's people out there that want the help, but I was attracting broke network marketers that didn't really want. They said they wanted the help, but they really didn't want the help, and they didn't want to spend the money for the help. And then when I had that great conversation with Erica in Las Vegas, and I made it more about not me as a network marketer, but me just as a person, that I've gone through adversity, that I want more out of life. And my core message is there's more to life than paying bills and then you die, that you should be building a better life than that. And when I did that, and it was overwhelming, because that's like turning around the Titanic. It was a huge change. I had to change really everything about my marketing. But I had, with Instagram, I had 23 Instagram accounts, because basically how I was doing it is each Instagram account was marketing to a specific MLM company. So I had one for Mary Kay, and I had one for Janus, and I had Juice Plus and all that. And of course that was a lot of work. Even if you post the same picture, there's not really a lot out there where you can do multiple a post on multiple accounts at one time, and so it was a lot of work. I cut that down to 10. I kept 3 of the most active MLM ones just to kind of keep in contact with those people. But other than that, it was about what I like and what I think my audience will like. And it's law of attraction, and it's building your best life, and it's I have one for my dog, so I can attract dog lovers. And after I got that all situated, and I kind of changed the links and everything, and I had it all switched, it has been such much more of a pleasure to market on Instagram now that my message aligns with really what I want to do. And the core message is the same. I'm just approaching, because I wanted a better life for network marketers. But I'm not going to preach to someone who turns a deaf ear. So it just seems to me, and maybe this is just a mindset for me, but it's so much more. I'd rather, and I was getting, at my best, I was getting 50 leads a day through those accounts, but they weren't turning into sales. And I thought, you know what? I'd rather have less of more qualified leads that really want to hear what I have to say than do work that I didn't really enjoy to get a ton of leads who don't care what I have to say. They don't want to spend the money. And so, whenever you're watching this hangout, my point is, when you're thinking, when you're going through that well-formed day, or you're going through who is my niche and what is my brand and all of that, make sure it resonates with you, and don't just yes, it has to be monetizable, but don't just think of, oh, I think that's a good market for me. Think with your heart, not with your pocketbook, because the money will come if you do your business with your heart. And that's what I believe, and that's what's going to happen after I turn this Titanic around and hopefully not sink.
You're not going to think.
There again, I mean, Linda brings up the point. It's got to come from your heart.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what we do in this business, it's got to be inside of us. It can't be, it's not cerebral at all. We have all that part put together. All we need to do is just put our message out there, because, I mean, we all have one in one way or another, and our take on something is going to resonate with other people, and we're going to be able to get it out there. And that's where, it's going to come back, to help, to make us the money later on, but, we're going to be helping people along the way. And that's, we can't lose sight of that. I mean, if anything, today, I mean, the message is, talk with your heart.
That's a good message.
And don't take too long of a break.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's short and sweet. I mean, I know for myself, when if I get an idea for a video or for a blog, I'll just go ahead and cut it. And it's one take on the video. It's straight through writing on the blog, reread it and post it. And it's not going to worry about if this is all right or whatever. This is what I got to say for today. And that's the way I look at it.
I like it.
And Jeannie, I mean, with what you've done on the videos, I mean, I always look forward to watching yours.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
always
you.
a smile to watch.
Thank you.
And that's where I feel it's coming from your heart.
And I will turn that momentum into blogs.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Alrighty then. So we're heading up. It's coming up on the top of the hour. Anybody have any closing words for today?
Well, I'd like to know, does Nancy have any input there that she would like to share with us?
Nancy had to leave. She had to go drive. Let me just pick this up here real quick. Get back up to where we were. Okay, where did it all go? Let me just pick this back up. Somebody put a post there. Put that out of the way.
Leaving the house. That's
Nancy had to take off. Her mom's in the hospital downstate. She's got to travel 350 miles to see her, so she's going to watch the replay.
Okay. All right.
So, but like Nancy said right before that, we just have to keep moving on. By moving on, we give other people the permission to do the same.
Yes.
And I think we covered that pretty well today.
Yeah, I think like in Jeannie's case, Jeannie has a lot to share. She has a message to share because she's been through, some tough things that there are other people out there going through. And, in speaking with some of the folks that, are in the group, in the boot camp right now, there are some people there who have some amazing stories, but it's getting to that point to where you're willing to share that with the rest of the world.
Yes.
And, a lot of them are willing to share it with you and me here in the group, but they're not really ready for the rest of the world to see it. That really scares them. And so, you have to get comfortable with yourself, of course, and get to a certain level, before you're able to do that. And, that's all part of the growth process, I guess. So, Jeannie's got an amazing story, and she's got to share it. That's all there is to it.
It's true. As soon as they do share it, and someone comes back and says thank you, man, that's like lighting the match to the wood. I mean, it just, woo.
Yep.
I can't think about missing videos. And I want to turn that into the blogs, but every day I'm like, now it's not about, oh, I've got to do a video. It's like, no, there's someone out there that needs to hear this or at least see my smile today. So it's important. Our stories are important. All of us have been through stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. One more thing I might say before we, disband here, and that is, just like Raymond was saying there, he said that whenever he has an idea come into his mind, if it's for a video or a blog, he takes action and does it right then.
Mm.
Not everyone is in a position where they can do that, but the one thing you can do is to make a note of that, and I find that helps me. If I have an idea that flashes through my mind and I think, well, hey, that would make a good video or that would make a good blog to write about, then I make a note of it, and that makes it so much easier when you have that day when you can't think of something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to your list, because it does become a list if you keep writing them down, and so it makes it easy to go back and just say, okay, well, what do I want to talk about today? Because I can do that right there. I mean, it's kind of like keeping that journal or making notes of those dreams that you have at night. People do that kind of stuff. So you know. Maybe that'll help somebody if they take that action and they actually start writing those things down. I know it works for me, so I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point.
Well, and in my case, there has been so many times where I didn't write it down, and it was like a genius idea,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I'll remember it, and
Yeah.
then then I'm like, what was that thing that I was gonna make the perfect video on? And for the life of you, you can't remember what it was. So writing it down helps, because you're gonna think, this is such a genius idea, I'm gonna totally remember this, and 2 hours later you won't remember it.
Yeah.
So true.
Exactly right.
All right.
So
All
true.
right, we're coming up on top of the hour, so we're going to wrap this up. Remember, everybody, next week we'll be discussing Module 3 in the top producer formula on capture pages. So please take a look at that during the week, and we look forward to having more people join us next week here on the panel and the viewership. But for now, everybody, let's just say goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Thank y'all.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.